Hey, Katie. So good to uh, check in with you as we head into the fall here. And I know we're both in Abbotsford. Wasn't the plan, but hey, we're still here together. And yet, in so many ways, we as a church family have not connected with you much face to face. I know you've had some interpersonal connections, but on the whole, people probably are wondering, "Hey, we commissioned Katie. I wonder what happened. Wonder where she's at. What's going on?" And so this is a great chance just to check in and offer support and find out some ways that we can continue to be praying for you, kind of as we head into the fall and know a little bit more about that. So why don't you start by just updating us in a personal way? What's been going on for you personally, and what's your story right now?
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, like you said, I'm still here in Abbotsford. I haven't gone too far. I've just kept working, which has actually been really good in a lot of ways because it will help my nursing license be like, it gives me more time before it expires. So that has been actually a really good thing, just for thinking longevity wise, being able to go for longer periods of time.
Yeah, so working for you is at Abbotsford Regional Hospital,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and
Um, and P-Search as well sometimes, and
Peace
I
Arch. Yeah,
work there in maternity.
yeah.
So still doing that.
So
Uh,
what? Explain what you mean by it'll help your nursing license. Just say a little bit.
yeah, like so every year you have to, or every 5 years you have to get a certain number of hours in, working in a hospital in Canada, or
Mhm.
something that's really equivalent to that. So in the Himalayas, wherever I'm going, um, I'll be doing nursing related stuff, but not something that they consider equivalent to nursing in Canada. So while I'm here in Canada working, it actually helps extend my license in that I'm getting my hours in, so that I'll have um, maybe 3+ years I can kind of be exclusively
Hmm.
not working, or just gives me a little bit more freedom in that way. Um, yeah, so that's been a real blessing to, which was kind of nice. I that's been a good thing about staying. Yeah, so I've been working, just praying into when, kind of waiting and for when things will open up. It's also been nice. I've been hanging out with my family a lot more and seeing some friends as things have opened up a bit, just kind of within my social bubble, you know,
Yeah,
getting together with my life groups. And that's been really good, just to be able to have more time to connect with
yeah.
people. And yeah, going camping with my family,
Oh,
babysitting
that's
niece and
great.
nephews. So it's been really nice. It's kind of one of those times where you're like being thankful for being here, but also like kind of you're in that waiting phase, which is sort of a tension type of
Sure,
phase.
it is.
Um, yeah, but it's been good, and
It's good.
yeah,
You know,
thank you.
a year ago, we talked about, or I think it was more than a year ago, more like maybe a year and a half ago, we talked about it.
Yeah,
It was important to before you launch into this next phase of the call that God's given you, that take that opportunity to connect with us as a church and sort of
yeah,
deepen that network and those relationships and those support partnerships,
yeah.
and we didn't imagine that it would be quite like this,
No,
but
no, no one did.
no, but we
Yeah,
trust God for the timing on that, right? Even though it is
yeah,
frustrating to wait, it really is. It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
what as far as that call to serve in the Himalayas. What's developing? What do you know about that? Is there anything you can just update us on that
yeah.
component?
Well, there was some promising news back in kind of beginning of August, where the people on the ground, there's still some team members on the ground in Nepal, and they were suddenly, the government just ended the lockdown and we're like, okay, we're done with lockdown, we're opening up the country. And they're like, whoa, this sounds really promising. So it sounded like in the fall, like there was still, they weren't sure of the details of when things would open up. So there sounded like in the fall things would start to open. So they said August 17th things would open up, and then they delayed that again because cases were rising in the country. And yeah, so but then September 1st was kind of the new date for it, and then they were saying international people could come. Then they made that a little bit more strict and said now only can return. Um, and then now it looks like the airport has opened up to allow local citizens to go back into the country. However, yeah, they're not letting internationals enter, which is kind of what we are sort of expecting, that things would kind of keep being delayed. But there is still, it looks promising that things might open up in the fall. So like cases are rising, but the government is really hurting for their tourism industry. So I'm not sure what they're going to do, but they're kind of, they want to open things up so they can have tourism to come back. That's a huge part of their economy. Yeah. But yeah, so it's still up in the air. But kind of, I'm just sort of preparing to go, and I'm ready to go whenever. So
Sure.
yeah, I've been learning online through a tutor, and that's been really helpful. So I'm still like just as eager to go, just as feeling just as called. But yeah, just sort of waiting for that time. And yeah, I do feel like God's given me lots of peace and just waiting for the right time. I mean, obviously it wasn't easy at first, but now, yeah, I feel like He's given me more peace and being able to enjoy being here, but still preparing to go. So,
Yeah.
so it's still sort of a gray area. I don't know exactly when, but preparing for maybe the fall.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Well, we certainly understand how anxious you are to get going, or I don't know whether you're anxious, but you're just, it's kind of there, you're
I'm
ready,
ready. I'm ready. But
and we certainly understand that, and we will be, yeah, we want to just join you in praying for that right time, and obviously
yeah,
that still is an unknown. So
yeah,
when you're in that place of waiting, and just you're so ready to step
yeah,
into something, and then it's just clear that God has a different timing plan. Like, how's your
yeah,
heart through all of that?
yeah,
What have you been hearing
yeah.
the Father
Well,
say through that?
yeah, it was, I mean, I think it was challenging for all of us back in kind of March, April, when things really changed. And like, because we all have gone through such a transition with everything changing in our lives pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, and so there, I think it's been kind of, I could describe it as a roller coaster. I guess sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes I'm like, this is really hard. Other times it seems to be fine again. I feel like now the last month or so I've kind of stabilized as far as my emotions, and feeling more like I just have kind of a hope in what's going on. But I'm not like, really disappointed or really frustrated. It's more like, okay, um, I can actually enjoy being here, being thankful for things, and just focusing on that positive side of things. Um, and and then because things are promising to open up, it's like, okay, I feel motivated to learn the language, feel motivated to like keep praying for this and keep praying towards um, what's coming. So I guess to be honest, it has been challenging, but um, also been really good in that I've had more time to learn the language and pray, and even just like I feel very hopeful for what God's going to do in like all over the world. But um, yeah, because I'm focused on this country, specifically what He's going to do there um, as things have changed. Like it's just sort of a new time for
Mhm.
this country.
Yeah.
and I feel excited. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I think even God just preparing my heart and helping me be more flexible
Mhm.
and more trying to being more soft to his voice, so that I'm not just kind of going in guns blazing with my vision, but like really pulling back to hear
Yeah.
what he has to say. Yeah. So
And that really speaks to all of us because,
yeah,
we've all got things that we just want to get on with and we want to hurry ahead with.
yeah,
And we become very impatient. And certainly under the circumstances, we're all feeling that to some extent. I don't think anyone's
yeah,
happy to continue to deal with this ongoing pandemic. But
yeah,
then to learn the lessons of both waiting and increasing our level of trust, and then
yeah,
being okay with that, being settled in our hearts and our spirits, and not trying to make something happen
yeah,
in our own time. So that's a good lesson, and thank you
yeah,
for sharing how you're grappling with that. So I heard, Katie, just some really ongoing ways that we need to be praying for you and with you and support. Obviously, uh, there's the prayer for you as you continue to work as a maternity nurse here in the Lower Mainland, and while that is a blessing, it's also providing in a way for you to extend your time away, given the
yeah,
requirements of your nursing qualifications, right? And
mhm,
so there's that piece, and we want to be praying for you as you continue to serve here in this very important time.
yeah,
And secondly, then there is your continued points of preparation. You talk about language studies, and you talk about, we talked about extending your network of support here while you're here, and how important that is. And so we're going to pray for you is that is a continuing opportunity for you. But obviously, with the waiting, we want to pray for just for the work that God wants to do in your heart around
yeah,
trusting Him.
yeah,
And then we're praying that things will open up, right? And that possibly this fall you can
yeah,
begin to make preparations, formal preparations to leave and to get into Asia and to the Himalayas there, and to pick up
yeah,
the work uh, that will be specific to women's health there, using your
yeah,
nursing experience and skill. And so we want to be
yeah.
praying for you. Is there anything that I've missed out of our conversation that you'd want to add just to help us be focused in our prayer?
I guess just I was just thinking like wisdom for the country's government. Um, just as because I can they're a developing country with a lot of the country is third world, but then the city's developing. But I think just wisdom for them as they navigate, because I can't imagine what it must be like. They have so many like lacking resources, and then there's been riots and things as people have been on lockdown, just not happy with how they're handling it, and then the economy of the country. So it just that's been on my heart, just like to that they would
Okay,
have wisdom and that God would speak to them.
sure.
Um, yeah, and just that the church there would, um, yeah, really be like a light and yeah, help bring like people in that sphere, those spheres
Yeah,
of government who know the Lord would be able to bring like wisdom there, and that
yeah,
yeah, God would be glorified and
yeah.
in all of that. So yeah, I
Okay.
think this
Well, we'll
that's
join you in that as well, for sure. So, Katie,
yeah,
I just want to assure you that as a body, as a church, we love you, and we're delighted in the way that you have pursued this call of God in your life, and we're excited to be in partnership with you. And so, just know that we're on with you in this season of preparation and of waiting, and that if there's practical ways that we come alongside you through this, that we want to be available to do that. So thanks a lot for taking these few minutes just to update us, and we want to be able to know and pray with knowing for you. So God bless you.
Thank you.